It's International Jazz Day today. Do you enjoy jazz music? I somewhat enjoy it. It's not my favorite genre, but I do celebrate jazz music because of a very important lesson I learned many years ago that has to do with jazz music. This lesson came to me through a friend, but also through the movie La La Land. You know that movie where the opening scene is everybody dancing on the top of their cars and on their bonnets? I know that puts a couple of people off. But in the movie, there's this brilliant scene where Sebastian is trying to convince Mia that jazz music is just the best thing. And he looks at her and they're in this jazz club and he says, look, the sax player has just hijacked the song. But prior to this, he's saying to her, when people say they hate jazz music, they don't have context. They don't know where it comes from. And he says jazz music was born in this little flop house in New Orleans. They spoke 5 languages. They couldn't speak to each other, so the only way they could communicate was through the music, was through jazz. And then he goes and he shows her, just as I mentioned, that the sax players hijacked the song, and he says each of these guys is creating, they're rearranging, they're writing, but they're also keeping the melody at the same time. So what makes jazz music so powerful is the individual musician has the ability to improvise, almost pivot, but keeping the bass notes. Now I love this thought. In the disruption of my life, are there bass notes that keep everything together? Because I know there certainly are surprises. They're the challenges of the day which cause me to go off in an unplanned way. But are there the bass notes which bring the centering? For example, one of my bass notes is always be the student. And when I find myself all over the place, always be the student is a bass note which reminds me to find the lesson even in this. Now, sometimes when we do work at organizations, I use the illustration of La La Land or the bass note. Another term we've given it is the 8th beat. And we say to organizations, what are the bass notes that keep everybody together, regardless of if you're in the financial department or on the production line or in sales? The bass notes are the things that we all remember. We all keep top of mind, and regardless of the turmoil, we keep coming back to those bass notes. So as you celebrate International Jazz Day, perhaps you didn't even know it was it, maybe ask yourself this question: what are my bass notes that keep this whole thing in tune?